Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Hazel Lucia Tarot. I'm Stephanie, your tarot reader, and today's reading is messages from your higher self, anything your higher self would like you to know. We're going to leave this very open-ended, so we're just going to see what messages want to come through. So we have 5 piles here for you today. Pile 1, we have this onyx buffalo. Pile 2, we have this rose quartz that is smooth on one side and raw on the other. Pile 3, we have a clear quartz tower. She's one of my favorites. Pile 4, we have an amethyst point. And pile 5, we have a selenite heart. So take a few deep breaths, call in some light, some beautiful heart messages, and I'll be ready for your reading whenever you are. Hello there, pile 1. If you chose the white onyx buffalo, then we have a reading here for you about messages from your higher self, what your higher self would like you to focus on, what it wants to say to you, and anything else that wants to come through. I'm leaving this reading very open-ended, so whatever comes through, comes through. I am getting a song for you. It's actually from Steven Universe. I love the music in that show, but the song is called Be Wherever You Are. And the lyrics coming through specifically are, why don't you let yourself just be somewhere different? Why don't you let yourself just be wherever you are? So for a lot of you, I feel like you're meant to be something different than you used to be, or you're embodying a new identity or a new way of living. There's a new energy coming in for you, pile 1, and I feel like the universe wants you to embrace it. Maybe some of you are resisting it a little bit. Maybe some of you are kind of on the fence about it, or you're trying to hold on a little bit too much to a past or old identity that no longer, I don't think it's not going to benefit you, but it's more like whatever you're meant to be right now is going to be easier for you to be than something from the past or something that you're more used to. I hope that makes sense. So let's go ahead and see the card that you chose. And we have the 6 of Swords. Yeah, we're moving on to something new. You could literally be moving from one place to another, or this could be more metaphorical, more in the mindset. You're moving on to new territory. We're treading new paths. We are doing different things here. So it makes sense to leave the past behind. Regardless of where you're going, the past is no longer relevant here. So pile 1, we have protection with Shenring. You're very protected on this journey. We have feminine rose. So there is something about being in feminine energy that is going to be in your favor as well, which makes sense because I love the show Steven Universe. And even though it has a male protagonist, I can't remember if he identifies as anything else, but I feel like the show itself is very feminine in that the gems do choose to identify as more feminine figures. And it's just so, the color palette's feminine, everything about it is just so, it's like sparkles and crystals and pink and purple overlays. I love that show for its aesthetics as well as its music. I don't know why that show's coming through. I haven't seen it in a long time. We have the coin, number 55. We have Erish Kigal, boundaries. We have Scorpion. We have the womb. And our little froggy says, I am capable of more than I realize. Oh, I love this. I absolutely love this. Because what you're stepping into is something very different from what you're used to. The feminine card lets me know that some of you may think that you may have to either move in or out of feminine energy, depending on what you're already used to. And that's up to you. If you already operate as a more masculine energy, regardless of your gender here, of course, I feel like Spirit is asking you to step into more feminine energy. And if you already operate on more feminine energy, you might be misinterpreting what stepping into your power may mean. Because there's something about the feminine here that is very strong, that is supposed to kind of overtake everything. Because we do have the womb here, I'm wondering if some of you are in creation mode. You're about to create something, or you're in the process of, like, I'm hearing development. I feel like you could be going through a journey where you are creating either a new life for yourself, a new type of perspective, or something where your feminine energy is creative in that I'm seeing like building a nest or building a home, like you're creating something here, but it's going to be in the process. It could take up to maybe even 9 months here. For some of you, you could literally be making children here. You could literally be pregnant, or your partner could be pregnant. Because with the coin and Scorpion, I almost feel like you're trying to you're trying to build up for a future, or you're trying to save for a future, like save money for a future. There's something about you being in an energy where boundaries must be set because you are in preparation for something. Not only that, but you're capable of more than you realize. And I feel like I was already going to say that regardless. With coin, I do feel like for a lot of you, money could be of importance. This kind of makes me think of the Ace of Pentacles. So, again, seeds being planted and nurtured and watered. This is your own garden, if you will, of what it is that you are creating. Also, it's really cute that there's like a little cat right here on top of this coin. Maybe for some of you, you're dealing with pets as well. Maybe you're creating something with animals. Scorpion does make me think, though, especially next to boundaries. Some of you could be a little bit more relentless in the things that you are protecting, because the protection card does mean that you yourself are protected, but it can also mean that you are doing something, or you're protecting something. The best example I can think of, and this is the most obvious, but this does not have to be the case for you, pile one, is when, let's use an animal, when like a bear or a wolf or a mama animal is pregnant, they get a little bit more defensive. They start saving up more for more food for themselves, as well as their kids. It's like they're building something, they're creating something for themselves. Therefore, they have to set boundaries because they know they are now just not fighting for their own individual safety. They're fighting for the safety of their little family, of their little babies that they're about to have. Same thing after they have them, There's nothing more dangerous than a mama animal who has baby cubs, or baby actually wolf cubs are the same thing, little baby animals that they have to protect, because that's what their new life is. And the same thing for you, pile one. Even if you're not having children, you could be creating a business, you could be creating a new life. Therefore, you have to watch your money a little bit more. You have to set the boundaries. You have to make sure that whatever's coming into your life is adding to your future. And if it's not, then it's time for it to go. Maybe even in a more aggressive way than you're used to. For example, let's say you're saving up for a home, but you have friends or family who just like to siphon money off of you for whatever reason. This is you putting up your boundary and telling them, no, absolutely not. I'm trying to build something here. Because not only would that home benefit you, it would also benefit that same friend or family who is asking stuff from you. It's like, wouldn't you rather just be over at my house so we can have some place to chill, or someplace where you could just crash? It's that kind of energy where you're not just doing this for you, you're doing it for the collective, whatever your collective may be. Not only that, but I feel like you don't even realize how capable you are of this. Another example, and this is more personal, so I'm sorry if you don't like to hear personal examples, but when I bought my first home, I almost wasn't expecting it, because I didn't realize at the time how easy it was to do so. Of course, this isn't a great example because I know every place around the world is different, and the economy has changed drastically since I bought my first home. But I didn't realize how simple it was, and if I had known that like many years prior, I probably would have tried harder to get a home a lot sooner, and I probably would have made a lot more money. But it's that kind of mentality. Don't be surprised if the universe kind of conspires to help you out to do the very thing that you are aiming for, especially when it comes to building your life. For example, I feel like some of you could be looking for a job that actually pays you well. And maybe some of you didn't realize that all you needed was some sort of certification that takes only a few months to get there. And it could only take maybe, I don't know, less than a year, or maybe even a few years to get to a point where you are making enough money to not only take care of yourself, but the people around you. So these are just examples, of course. I feel like it could be anything else. For some of you, it could even be health. I feel like some of us don't realize how simple it could be to just tweak a few diets here and there to make us eat healthier, or maybe incorporate more activity, physical activity, into our daily lives just to keep us healthier. It doesn't even have to be exercise, because there's a lot of people around the world who don't even exercise the way, at least in my culture, in the US, people exercise a lot. And in other parts of the world, they don't exercise as much. They just consider it having fun. They just consider it walking from one place to another, and that's part of their daily exercise. So it's little things here and there that you are adding to your lifestyle in general that are going to make a big shift, a big difference in your life. The one thing you do have to look out for, because again, I'm being brought to this boundaries and the Scorpion card. Some people may try to shame you for this. Some people may be naysayers. Some people may not like it. you're always going to have haters. Doesn't matter who it is. And sometimes it's surprising who those haters can be. Sometimes it's your very own friends and family. Because I keep seeing, especially with the Scorpion, these could be people that you thought would be on your side that you're recognizing have either have very limited ways of viewing things, or maybe they had something to gain from a previous version of you that you no longer resonate with. So take this as it resonates, pile 1. But you're creating something and you're defending it fiercely, and I feel like you deserve this. Whatever this is, you absolutely deserve it. I'm gonna get some runes before we move on to the tarot, because I haven't used these in a minute. Okay, we got 3. So we have, this is Jera, success. We have, I want to say this is Manus. I'll look it up because I always get this confused with a similar looking one. And then we have the blank one, which is considered a rune of fate. I feel like you have a lot more freedom in this new version of yourself that you are becoming, in this new environment that you are entering. You have a lot more options and a lot more free will. So don't be afraid that you might be following the right or wrong path. I feel like there is no right or wrong path. This is just you needing what you need to do to get yourself ahead. And once you get there, you can start to choose and decide what it is that you need. Again, there is something to be said about fate and destiny for sure, but we also have a lot of freedom. We combine both of those in order to create the life that we want. For this one, this is actually Manas, and it means humankind or mankind, the self, the individual, or the human race. I feel like this is about your individuality and where you stand in the world. For a lot of you, you could be dealing with an identity. Again, there's something here about identities, or being the person you've always wanted to be, being in alignment with yourself, being in alignment with your true passions as well is what is coming through. But I feel like you will be successful in this. You will eventually get to the point where you live a life that you absolutely love, that you're absolutely comfortable with. And I feel like it's not very far for a lot of you. With that said, let's go ahead and move on to the tarot portion. And I want to thank you so much, Pile 1, for clicking on this video. Also, thanks to everybody who is subscribed. I finally hit 4,000 followers or subscribers. And I don't know, I guess I've just been busy that I forgot to look up, and I was like, oh my gosh, we've reached that point. Or I don't know, it's exciting because I didn't really think I would be doing this channel for this long. I think we're coming up on my 2nd year. But yeah, let's go ahead and see what your higher self would like you to know. We have the 3 of Pentacles reversed. Something to be said about the community around you. We have the Lovers reversed as well. We have the 4 of Cups. We have the 5 of Pentacles. And the Queen of Cups. Okay, for a lot of you, the things that you previously wanted are no longer the things that you want. Maybe you thought that what you had in the past was something that was going to make you happy. And I feel like a lot of you have learned that it's not just the people around you, it's not just the relationships you're in that are going to make you happy. It's living a life where you are doing the things that you know you were meant to do. And sometimes even the communities, our friends, our families, and our partners can hold us back from that for whatever reason. Or maybe you've let them hold you back, when I feel like you're stepping into an energy now where you're no longer allowing that to happen. If the partners, your romantic partners that you have, do not want you to do the things that you know you are meant to do, I don't think you're going to be with them very much longer. And I feel like for a lot of you, this could have even been your community, because I kind of want to say it was your friends, but you're quickly realizing that some people that you thought were your friends were really just people that you've known your whole life that were kind of just there. It's kind of like maybe you quickly realize that certain friends of yours just really didn't seem to vibe with you, didn't really seem to care. So either you're making new friends or you're learning to distance yourself away from them to the point where you can be yourself. Because when I tap into this past energy, and it does very much feel like this is present, this is past, and this is future. It feels like you almost couldn't breathe, or you were suffocating in everybody else's expectations, including either a partner. I feel like for a lot of you, you could be single and you don't have a partner. Or if you do have a partner, you've learned to distance yourself enough from them where their energy does not affect you. Or you might be learning to do that right now. Back of the deck, we do have the Six of Wands. Yeah. Because the energy you're in right now is very contemplative. Like, it doesn't surprise me that you're at a tarot reading. You could be going through one of those moods where you're just really, really into tarot readings just to see where life is meant to take you next, or where you're meant to go. I know when I started watching tarot readings on YouTube, that's where I was. I was at a crossroads in my life where I thought that I had what I wanted. And it turns out that that wasn't what I wanted at all. In fact, I was being stifled. And I feel like a lot of you are going through something similar. What's up next for you? We have the Five of Pentacles. And I know it seems a little bit alarming because the Five of Pentacles can be a card of lack. But what I'm seeing this as is you understanding what is worth your time and what isn't. It's also you recognizing that you have a lot more power than you realize. Just like your Froggy card says, you're capable of a lot more than you recognize. And the only thing getting in your way is either your own mentality and maybe, just maybe, the people around you. I'm not going to say that it's entirely their fault, but it could be, for example, whatever they may think of you could scare you enough to not want to do something. It's like, well, what would the community say? What would my friends say? What would my family say? I feel like that's what's keeping you from doing that. Therefore, giving your life that much, giving that mentality that much power and control over your life is keeping you in a lack mentality. That's what I'm seeing with the Five of Pentacles here. But we do have the Queen of Cups letting me know that you will eventually follow your heart. I'm hearing, come rain or shine, you're going to listen to your heart, you're going to follow your heart. And if your heart leads you to somewhere that maybe other people don't like, it doesn't matter. You're not living their life, you're living yours. And I do feel with the Six of Wands, you're actually going to end up in a much better place. You're going to end up feeling a lot happier. Because what you had in the past wasn't really very authentic to you or whatever you were meant to do. It wasn't authentic to you because it wasn't making you happy, because you weren't feeling fulfilled. For a lot of you, you weren't feeling fulfilled at all, even though you otherwise had a pretty great life. I feel like there's something here about, for some of you, whatever this is, it will speak more to your emotions. I would look to your moon sign, and that will give you a big indication of what you are meant to do. For example, I have moon in Pisces. Pisces is a very spiritual sign. So me doing this, it really does fulfill me. Like, I absolutely love doing this. That's why even back before I was making a little bit of money off of it, I was still doing it because I absolutely loved it. Before I did tarot, I did yoga. I was into energy healing. I did astrology. I still do astrology, just not professionally. I did all of this, and I always will, because it's what nurtures me. It's what brings me here. For some of you, for example, if you have moon in a fire sign, you could absolutely love something that is competitive, whether it's a sport or a career that is more competitive. If you have something in an earth and a moon in an earth sign, this would be something more concrete, or something to do with like physical. It could either be something to do in nature, or something to do with homes, or something that involves even finances, something about the human body as well. If you have moon in an air sign, this would be something intellectual, something where like an exchange of ideas, an exchange of the mind, or anything to do with communication, or even something more social, like to do with people, would actually help and benefit you. Take it as it resonates, but for a lot of you, this does lean towards the moon sign. And that's where you will find your success. So I absolutely love this. I feel like your higher self is really just wanting you to move in a direction that is more authentic to you, because for a lot of you, you're currently in a space that doesn't make sense for you in the long run. It may make sense to you right now in this very moment, and maybe it made sense, for a few years, or in the past for a few years. But it was never meant to be your permanent place. You were never meant to stay there for that long. And for a lot of you, I do see new people coming in as well. So even if you had to lose a few friends, even if you had to lose a partner, there will be new ones that are more aligned with you coming in. Page of Wands, Two of Pentacles, and Strength. You will be given the tools necessary in order to succeed. Yeah. And you're going to find yourself with a lot more energy. Some of you might be hearing this and think, well, that sounds like a lot of effort to just change my life around. You're going to find the energy to do this. You're going to find the effort. Like the universe will give you a gust of energy for this. I say this because, like I said, I absolutely love doing tarot readings. I've never come home and never had enough energy to do a tarot reading. Sometimes I'll do a tarot reading and be reinvigorated with energy because I'm doing it and because it's part of my life purpose. Um, that's the kind of energy I'm seeing for a lot of you. So, with that said, let's move on to your closing advice, your closing cards. So, I'm going to start with the Sacred Self Creators or the Sacred Creators Oracle card. My readings have gotten a lot shorter lately, mostly because I started pre-selecting the cards and because of my own timing. Let me know if you prefer your readings longer or shorter, or if it depends on the reading. Pile 1. So we have Creator, Fire. Like I said, there's going to be like a re-inspiration, a reinvigoration, new energy coming through. Whatever it is that you're about to step into, you're going to have a lot more energy for this, regardless of what it is or what you're doing. We have Creator, Water. It's also going to speak to your heart. It's going to speak to your emotions. You're going to be very inspired by this. Creator, Earth. I swear, if we get Creator, Air, I'm going to just start calling you the Avatar. This is crazy. So it's almost like you're resetting yourself, like you're realigning yourself. Especially with Earth. With Earth, I'm thinking of like chiropractics for some reason, or going to like the doctor for a checkup, just checking in with the body. Maybe quite literally, some of you will be checking in with your earthly body. And create alchemy. I'm gonna get one more. Yeah, you're literally taking elements that you already have. You're taking what you already have and creating something new with it. Make a mission statement for your soul. Ask yourself what it is that you want out of life. I think a lot of you already have your dreams and you already have your ideas of what it is that you want. But now I'm seeing you specifically making a mission statement, asking your soul what it is that you want. And it could be as simple as having a happy life, or it could be as intricate as, I would like to make this many businesses that bring in this much money per year that allow me to employ this many people, and I want it to all take place here. Doesn't matter how broad or how specific you are. I feel like as long as you have a goal, the universe will help to conspire with you to gain what you want. Back of the deck, we have lead your metamorphosis. It's almost like your higher self wants you to take more control over your fate, because for some of you, you've been relying far too much on what your destiny is or what fate is. You're meant to do a little bit more on your own, and the universe will meet you there halfway. Which you know, I know I've been in that situation where I'm just like, universe, take the wheel, lead the way. I don't know what it is I'm supposed to do, but step in one direction and the path will open up for you. We have this one. I don't think I've ever seen this card, and I use this deck a lot. Forget what has already been and wake up tomorrow to a paradise of your own creation. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're creating your own life here. You're creating your own paradise. And don't worry about the past. Don't worry about that. That will get resolved on its own, or you will deal with that when, you know, the moment comes. Worry more about your future, because I feel like you're headed to something amazing. Also, something drastically different from what you're doing right now for a lot of you. And your last card is, I focus on the happy, not the crappy. Oh my gosh. And then look at this little raccoon eating the trash from the trash can. It's so cute. It's eating pizza. It's funny because I just ate pizza. But yeah, focus on the happy and not the crappy. Maybe some of you are dealing with really crappy situations, or you're trying to escape a crappy situation. Don't focus so much on how bad it is. Focus on how much better things can be, because that makes things happen a lot faster. I don't know how, but I feel like the universe responds more to like happiness than it responds to, you know, danger or desperation, which I know seems odd, but sometimes viewing it that way will make you want to build the positive, even if there is negative. Like, build the positive here. But this is where I leave it, pile one. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 2. If you chose the rose quartz stone, then we have your reading here for you about messages from your higher self, anything that your higher self would like you to know. or anything that it would like you to bring attention to. So we're going to look at the cards you chose as well as the oracles to see the themes, and then we're going to go into the tarot to see more messages. So you've got 2 cards. We have the Eight of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. I had a feeling this would be a little bit of a romance reading, but if it's not that, then this could be anything that you pour your passion into. There's something about putting work into the things that you love, and this could easily be, like I said, your passion projects, anything that you truly love, but this also spills into romance, especially those of you who have a hard time with commitment, or maybe you haven't had a long-term relationship in quite a while. It's what you expect to build with something and the work that you put into creating your happiness. In general, I really do feel like it's about your joy, it's about your love, and how much effort you put into. If you're somebody who is currently not really happy with your life, how much effort are you putting into making your life something worthwhile for yourself? Because I feel like it doesn't have anything to do with what people expect out of you or what is expected of you, and everything to do with what makes you happy. And what makes you happy will, of course, vary. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your oracles for my pile 2. We have the Swan. We have Agape. There it is, love. And even swans are related to not just love, but also marriage. They're a big symbol of marriage, which is long-term commitment. And again, if you don't want to see this as romantic, you could see it as the things you pour your passion into, such as hobbies or any sort of, like, for those of you who play music or anyone who has got like a creative field that involves a lot of passion and heart to be poured into. We have a little froggy. He says, I am worthy of my dreams as everyone else. I am as worthy of my dreams as everyone else. Yeah. We have the Gate. We have Cleansing Smoke, number 6, which is a number of partnerships, and Newt, Fertility, which is a card of creativity. I love how everything just aligns here, because I do shuffle these at random. I pre-shuffle them. But interestingly, I feel like the message here is pretty clear, pile 2. What brings you joy and what do you give love back to? It's more like a reciprocity, especially here with the Swan, because this is actually a mirror image of the Swan. If you were to pretend this was water, this is the mirror image of the Swan. And that's why it's also known to be I want to say swans are birds that mate for life, and that's why it's considered a bird of romance and why it's used in weddings and such. With fertility, I am seeing, I mean, like I said, you could literally take this as being fertile with your partner if that is what you want with your partner, but also the creativity. I take fertility to mean that which allows you to create. With cleansing, I do feel like there's some sort of energy from the past or perspectives that you've outgrown when it comes to things like this, when it comes to the passion that is undying. I feel like for some of you, you believe passion is something that is just the heat of the moment or something that doesn't last forever, when the truth is that it can last forever, and you're learning exactly how to do that. Your higher self is wanting you to understand that it's like a fire that you keep fueling. It's like, you know, like a fireplace. You keep adding wood to it to keep it going, because yes, things will burn out. And things do go in cycles where some days you really love something and some days you're just not as excited about it, but it's all a cycle. It comes back around. I'm going to read for the Gate because this is the only card that I'm kind of wondering if you're about to open a new door to understanding this type of energy. Because for some of you, you could literally be unlocking a new way of seeing things. I'm kind of thinking of not just a perspective shift, but literally being shown a new way to do this. And I feel like this message came through, like, gosh, almost a year ago in a different reading. But the energy felt very similar, where the universe is bringing you something that you can never really get tired of. But here you're learning how not to get tired of anything that you pour your passion into. So from the book, we have the Gate, sign of an opening portal. Welcome to the unknown. Gates are a beautiful symbol because they mean there is a boundary approaching. And at the same time, their beauty and mystery tempt you to cross. It is like the universe is showing you a door into the unknown, but at the same time telling you that if you dare to go beyond what is known to you, something extraordinary is bound to happen. This is a sign from spirits that you need to make a transition spiritually or physically. But there is also a movement happening in your life. Gates are also a connection between the conscious and the unconscious world. So watch carefully for your dreams. This omen can mean there is something in your unconscious world that is trying to send you a message. For some of you, there could be a message coming through that maybe you haven't received. I mean, maybe it could be through this reading. But for a lot of you, there is something here about self-worth as well. I feel like part of the reason the passion hasn't lasted is because you yourself believe that you're not worthy of that same passion in return. Like maybe some of you are used to being loved in parts or being loved in small increments, but not really being loved in the long run, in the long term. And why that is, I'm not quite sure. Maybe some of you had parents that could only give you a small amount of time before they had to do whatever they had to do. Or maybe some of you, it's like the fun never lasted. Maybe you only got to enjoy things in small increments. So you felt that whatever you enjoyed was meant to be enjoyed in small doses. And that translated into relationships as in having short-term things, short flings, or even relationships that just don't last more than maybe a year or so. So I feel like some of you are learning how to love something in the long run, in the long term. And it's something a lot more realistic. I do feel like you're shedding an old view or cleansing yourself of old patterns here. And you're making way for something more. Agape is also the love that we have for all humankind, all human beings, the eternal love. Love at its most basic form. The kind of love that a child has for the whole world. That's what we're talking about here. So like I said, this could easily be translated to any area in your life where there's love, but also like a passion for something. Like kind of when you get tired of a hobby, or how you have an excitement for something new, but then you get tired of it. You're learning how to deal with that, or how to stop that pattern for a lot of you. Because I feel like for some of you, this pattern could have gotten you into situations you otherwise wouldn't have liked, or maybe it's kept you lonely and keeping you from meeting friends and partners that you want to have in your life forever. For some of you, maybe you're just used to this energy of not having anything permanent, which I know is odd. For example, I moved around a lot when I was a child, so I always attributed that kind of energy to that. However, I've also known people who moved around a lot and have had friends that they've known their entire lives. I guess it's easier with having the internet, so younger people who have had friends online their whole lives, even though they moved from here to there, like I guess they find it easier to have long-lasting relationships, even if it's not completely physical, and more mental and, on a different platform. So for some of you, we're dealing with this energy, regardless of whether you want to see this as more platonic, romantic, or even in your creative fields. So if this sounds like you, if this sounds like something that you're wanting to hear about, or even something that you've been wondering about, let's go ahead and move on to the tarot. This one was very simple and cut and dry. I feel like the previous pile was a little bit more profound in the way it was trying to get across, but this one, we're keeping it simple. I do want to do some runes before I move on to the tarot. I almost forgot about it. So, excuse me. For my pile too. If I sound a little weird, it's because I was sick over the weekend. So I'm coming out of being sick. I'm still a little congested though. So your runes, we have, again, the fertility. So for some of you, this could even have something to do with wanting to have children. If that is you, you will know who you are. If not, this is also like, again, the creative projects or the businesses that you treat as your babies. We have, this is Anzu's wisdom. This is intuition coming through. And Berkano, which is, of course, love. Like, I don't know how many ways we can spell it out here, Pile 2. This entire reading is about love. Not romantic per se, but it can be. But love and how you view it and how you can keep it, using your intuition to show you how to love. Honestly, I feel like this is what it's trying to tell you. Because intuition can come through in inspiration in creative projects. But it can also come through in inspiration to learn how to connect with people, whether it's on a friendship or a more romantic level. I feel like your intuition is going to guide you to something very loving and something very fulfilling as well, inside and out. And of course, we can also talk about self-love here, how to keep loving yourself. But for a lot of you, this is a reflection of how you can love others. This is why it's coming through more so, and how it relates outside to you as opposed to within you to the outside. So I'm actually going to keep these because I really love these runes. Let's go ahead and get your tarot. And for readings like these, I don't really have questions for the tarot cards. I just let the story play itself out. I intended this reading to be very open-ended because I like it when just whatever comes through. And thank you again for clicking on this reading, pile 2. It's so nice to have you here. We have the Well. This is one of those special cards to this deck. Not every tarot deck has this. I will read from it, but if I remember correctly, this is like the well of the things that you have. This is your collective. This is your inner knowing. This is also, if you want to talk about a creative well, this is what you already have, and being grateful for it and also working along with it. We have the Queen of Swords. And I'm not surprised because the Queen of Swords can come through as rather cold, maybe as the least warm or the least quote, quote, loving of all the queens in the tarot. But the way she loves, the way she nurtures is through knowledge and through spoken word, through the things that maybe other people take for granted. I remember doing an Athena reading a long time ago. And in that reading, she came through asking or talking about love, which is odd because the Greek goddess Athena, she's not one that is associated with love. In fact, she's one of the virgin goddesses. She's more about strategy. Is that how you say that word? Strategy. Strategy and about being in your head as opposed to being in your heart. And I remember doing that reading and it was just so odd because I wasn't expecting a love reading from the goddess Athena. I might link it below if you're curious about that, and I may even tell you which group it is. I want to say, well, let me not spoil it for you, but yeah, we have the Queen of Swords. We have the Six of Swords. Oh, so you're a runner. Okay, so for some of you, there's some avoidant energy here when it comes to love, when it comes to the things you like. Because you feel like you're not worthy of it. Two of Swords. There's also avoidant energy big time. Another way of seeing this is that you could be attracting avoidant people, but you have to be honest with yourself. When you attract those people, it's because there's a part of you that feels that you don't deserve their love or that you yourself are also avoidant. And we have to be very honest here with ourselves, pile 2. And the Hermit. And that's what leads to your quote, quote, loneliness. Back of the deck, the Devil. For some of you, it's become almost like a bad habit for you to just, there's a little bit of self-sabotage here and there's a little bit of bad habit. Part of the reason some of the relationships that you've had that have not worked out, or even your creative endeavors, is because you feel that you're not worthy of the success, or you're not worthy of the praise that comes along with that, or that you're not worthy of the love, attention, and even commitment that comes along with that. And if I'm triggering you a little bit, I'm sorry, but it has to be said. This is what your higher self wants you to know. And your higher self is being very honest with you. One thing is that you've learned to be in your head so much because you're afraid of the heart space. And let's face it, it is scary to be in the heart space because it makes us very vulnerable. It makes us very willing to be open to allowing somebody to know all of ourselves, to know our secrets. Maybe some of you have been betrayed in the past, or maybe some of you haven't made peace with things from your past either. And that includes the things that you have done where you feel like you've messed up. And there's a big energy here about why is this hard to say? About forgiving yourself. Pile 2, I love you so much. You have to learn to forgive yourself first and foremost, because a past version of yourself, even if it was just yesterday, didn't know as much as you know now in this very moment. So you have to forgive yourself for everything that either you've done, that you've allowed to happen, or that has just been part of circumstance. Like, even if you couldn't help it, forgive yourself, forgive the situation, and know that it is part of the past and it is not part of your current state nor your future, because you don't have to allow it back in. Whatever you don't want in the now, whatever you don't want in your future, you're allowed to bring in and out of this. You have a lot more control over the situation than you recognize. And the way you choose to run away from the toxic habits, as opposed to running away from the people who want to show you how nice it can be to have something beautiful in your life. Because I feel like for some of you, you have people who want to make connections with you. You have people who want to be your friends. You have people who absolutely adore you. And because you feel you're not worthy of this, I'm getting so choked up saying this, pile 2. You feel like you just can't accept it. And it breaks my heart because I know deep down inside that you're very deserving of all of this. There's nothing wrong with Hermit energy. Isolation and you know, self-development, internalizing everything can really be something very helpful and healthy to create for self-development, to create something of ourselves. However, it's not something we're meant to be in permanently. This is something that is only an aspect of ourselves. But for some of you, you've decided to keep yourself alone or sheltered away from the world because you feel like you don't deserve it, or you're afraid of getting your heart broken, maybe again, maybe multiple times. And I'm not saying that there aren't some, you know, shady and scary people out there, but you're resilient. You're much more resilient than this. We are born as embodiments of love, and we're meant to keep being that. If anything, we're meant to fight that very thing, those very ideas, thought forms, or whatever that have made us believe that we're not embodiments of love. So I feel like for a lot of you, what your higher self wants you to know is that you're more than capable of overcoming these obstacles that you feel you're meant to live with. They're just that, obstacles. You overcome them, you break them down, you get rid of them. Again, sorry for all the coughing, but I feel like there's a heavy truth coming through here. I'm going to read from the booklet for the well, because like I said, this card is unique to this deck. Astrological correlation is Gaia. The well is the birthplace of ideas, inspiration, and transformation. All things are birthed from this creatrix, whose knowledge flows freely from those who seek it. Upright is nurturing, opportunity, nature, and creativity. Reversed is destruction, endings, cold and stagnant. So I do feel for a lot of you, one way to revitalize the love for yourself and the love of others is to create beautiful things, to create something to share with the world. That is like our love letter to the universe, to the world, is to create something beautiful and leave it there for the world to see. The way an artist paints a painting and leaves it for the world to see. The way certain writers have written amazing books and have left them here for generations to read. That's what I'm seeing. For a lot of you, you're creating beautiful things, and even if you can't accept or love yourself, people will accept and love you through the things that you create. And if they're able to do that, then they're loving a part of you. And if they're loving a part of you, they're loving you. You know, I'm getting that song. Is it Beautiful Stranger? But I think Madonna does a version of it. I don't know if there's any other versions of it. To know you is to love you. To love you is to be part of you. And that's what I'm getting. That's why agape comes through. And this is really beautiful, honestly. So if you feel like you're not lovable, but yet you're out here creating beautiful things and allowing people to love those things, well, guess what? You're just being a whole part of this beautiful world that is full of agape, of love. And this is gorgeous. I really do feel like a lot of you are going to overcome this very thing. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get more cards for you just because I feel like you deserve it, pile 2. There is also something here about you speaking kinder to yourself, even if it's internally. Like the internal dialogue, the internal words you say to yourself, being kinder to yourself. We have the King of Swords. King and Queen of Swords. And the Six of Wands. Back of the deck, Three of Pentacles. So a few things. Wait, this was the back of the deck. Then what's this? Eight of Cups. Yeah, I feel like you're no longer emotionally going to be stagnant. I feel like for those of you who have been emotionally numb for some years or who have been running away from your emotions, this is coming to an end because there's going to be a counterpart here who's going to help you out. This could either be a friend, a business partner, and for some of you, of course, a lover, because when we have the King and Queens of both suits come together, to me, that is like an ideal match. And I feel like for those of you who have been wanting somebody romantic in your life, if you don't already have somebody, this is somebody coming through, showing you how to do this very thing, how to love yourself and how to, they're going to love you in the way that you're meant to be loved, the way that you are appreciated. It's somebody who speaks your love language, especially with the sword suit here. After all, that's air energy and that rules over communication, among other things. The Six of Wands lets me know that this is going to boost your confidence. And the Three of Pentacles, I do see lots of, it's not just friends, it's also building a community, which might be something a little bit more than friends. This is like the people around you, your family, not just your coworkers, but also your community, in whichever way you see that. So I see beautiful things coming for you, pile 2. But with that said, let's go ahead and move on to some closing advice. I mean, it could be that quite literally some of you could be falling in love with a beautiful stranger. I haven't heard that song in a minute. It's a nice song. So for my pile 2, I almost said pile 5. Some of you might be being called to that pile. We have limitations inspire innovations. Yeah. I feel like you're going to be very inspired by certain limitations, and it's going to bring about something very beautiful. We have light in the unexpected. Get back to elemental. You are light. It's almost like you have a little bit of a rude awakening of just how amazing you are, pile 2. That's what I'm getting. You're going to get a bit of a rude awakening that you're much more worthy of praise than you recognize. Because for a lot of you, it's really hard to accept the praise. And I understand, you know, I used to be in that energy too. Still am sometimes. But you're opening up your heart space. You're learning to be comfortable with yourself and the person you are and the things you do, and how all of that is just translates into somebody who is very capable and worthy of love. What's your honest truth? And I was kind of feeling this throughout this entire reading. There's something in the throat chakra for a lot of you. Speaking your truth, not just to others, but also to yourself and what it is that you may want. For a lot of you, you're trying to create a life that you want. And maybe you don't know what it is or what it may be, but you know that it's more than what you may currently have or more than what you are being asked to settle for. So for a lot of you, there's something unexpected coming in that is going to be a bit of a reset when it comes to either your creativity or the way you view relationships. Back of the deck, we have the distraction of shiny things. It's funny that the back of the cards keep bringing up like the number 15, which is the devil energy, which is bad habits. For some of you, your bad habit is not allowing yourself to be praised, not allowing yourself to be adored and loved by others. Maybe I had to call that out, pile 2. I love you so much. But for some of you, your bad habit is not knowing how to accept love. And you're overcoming this. Let's go ahead and get more cards from the Let Go Oracle. We have this one. Lie in the sun and feel warmth in your heart. What does the goddess of the sun ask of you? Feel the warmth in your heart. What does the goddess of the sun ask of you? It's interesting. It's like some of you are going to be sitting in meditation, and it wouldn't surprise me. You could do like an incantation to a love goddess, or you could just see what god or goddess, what deity shows up whenever you do this. But I do feel like you're going to fill yourself up with love here. Unbridled, beautiful love from the sun, from the earth, from wherever it is that you need it from. And then the last card. For my pile 2. I focus on the happy, not the crappy. Too sappy. I want to say this came out in the first pile as well. I see you focusing on beautiful, happy things. I'm going to get another card just because I feel like that one already came out. And if you came from pile 1, you deserve a different card as well. I'm a bubbling fountain of gratitude for the trillions of ways my life is going right. I might forget to talk about them, but I sure can't take a moment to think about them. So for a lot of you, I feel like you're focusing on the positive. And this deck is very much that, where it wants to focus on beautiful, positive things. And I feel like a gratitude journal could help, or even just like sitting in meditation and thanking the world for everything that it provides for you will help you in the long run. At the very least, it'll make you feel lighter. But this is where I leave it. Pile 2, thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 3. If you chose the clear quartz tower, then we have your reading here for you about messages from your higher self. And we're going to look at the oracles to see what your higher self wants to let you know, what it wants you to focus on, anything that needs to come through. So I don't know if some of you really love dogs, or if dogs are like your spirit animal or something, because this entire morning, the dogs in my neighborhood have been going crazy. Like at every corner. I don't know which dogs, because I was trying to pinpoint which neighbor's dogs it was, but literally they're all just barking their heads off, and I have no idea why, because it's a beautiful day. A little cold, but nothing too severely cold. Chillier for a spring day. But regardless, dogs could be of importance, or dogs barking could be a sign or a symbol for some of you. Let's go ahead and start with the card you chose. We have the Ten of Pentacles. You know what's interesting? There's a dog right here. For a lot of you, a dog could be important right now. Or maybe some of you are Year of the Dog, or Year of the Dog could have been something important, which, when is the next Year of the Dog? I think 5 years from now. So 2030? 2030. And the last Year of the Dog was 2016. No, I forget. I'm sorry, but I know 2030 is the next one. And just add or subtract 12 years to that. Also, I need to apologize. I'm still congested from being sick a few days ago. So I'm recovering. I'm better now. It's just, you know, congestion. It takes its time. So we have Ragana, clarity. We have yin yang, dynamic. Oh, I love this. We have the bell. So this pile, you're really susceptible to like sound. I'm getting that because I had the need to apologize for my voice right away. Not only that, but there's also like background noise of dogs, bells. Maybe some of you are clairaudient, so you hear a lot of things, and not just things like voices. It could also be like particular sounds. Like I know ringing in the ears at random can be a thing, or even just hearing music in your head sometimes. We also have I am smart. This is so cute. And then if you read closer in the little page, it says, I am smart in both conventional and unconventional ways. We have the mask and elk. Oh, I love elks. I love deer and anybody within that family, whatever it's called, like caribou, moose, deer. I will read from the book for it, but I do see that your spirit guides, one, they want to let you know that the audio cues that they send you are very much something. And the dog stopped barking. Yeah, I feel like they're very much a cue for something that is important for you. I feel like some of you, especially if you are more typically intuitive in a different way, I feel like your clairaudience is amping up, or your higher self could be asking you to pay more attention to it, because I feel like it's trying to bring in both abundance and stability. So there's like little hints here and there that your intuition has been trying to bring you in order for you to build the life that you want. With clarity and dynamic here, the yin yang, there's kind of like you're finally dissecting certain things from other things. So there's a clarity coming through, but it's also you being able to discern what is good for you, what's not good for you, and what is just whatever it is. There's something here about, I mean, there's clarity for sure, but there's also, I'm trying to put it into words because I'm thinking of clear as a bell, like the saying clear as a bell. Is that a saying? I'm not sure. I'm making sure I'm not making it up, but there's something here about things just finally making sense, things just finally coming into the light, you making sense of something. There's something here that is finally going to like snap within you, and you're going to recognize why certain things have been the way that they have been. The masks are falling off. You're being able to see through people. For a lot of you, you have the ability to see through people, or you will. I do feel like most of you do, because I think some of you, you have been wearing a mask where you're pretending that you don't see or hear certain things. That, and or you've been dealing with people who do this very same thing, people who wear a mask, who pretend to be something they're not, and you're kind of tired of being able to see through that, but nobody else sees through it. It's very much a what's that story, The Emperor's New Clothes, where the emperor is wearing nothing essentially, but only this one random boy tells him, it's like, hey sir, you're actually not wearing anything, even though there were tailors telling him, oh, you're actually wearing the finest silks and you're wearing like all these really good cool clothes. And they were saying that only only people with like the highest level of whatever could see it, with like a high discerning eye. There's something about everybody being fooled by something, and you've never really been able to be taken for a fool, or at least you haven't since you were a child, and you're finally able to see through something. In some cases, maybe you've been blinding yourself to certain things. Maybe you didn't want to see it. And that's fair, because sometimes when we have such high hopes or such a high expectation of something, we don't want to see the flaws. We don't want to see the red flags. We don't want to see that. And I feel like you're finally taking off your own mask, and or you're allowing people to take off their mask. You're illuminating something here for sure. With I am smart, that kind of comes with the clarity. You've always been intelligent. People know this.
I'm seeing a specific scenario, this isn't everybody, where people know you're smart, where people know that you can do certain things, but for whatever reason, you've been doing something that has been kind of against that very mentality. Um, and I mean, I'll be honest, I do see some people judging you for it. Not as harshly, just kind of wondering why you put up with something when they know you know better. So for a lot of you, this is a bit of an awakening. But, and honestly, it does feel like a rude awakening for some of you. I feel like your higher self is calling you to this. It's kind of like, and your higher self is saying this in a loving manner. They're actually not calling you out. They're actually not trying to sound mean. It may come off as mean just because it seems like once you awaken to this, you'll feel a little silly, a little weird, because it's like, how could I not have seen this, or how could I have blinded myself to this for so long? And honestly, I do feel like that was a form of protecting yourself, because you weren't ready, because you knew if you had done it any sooner, or if you had done it in a different time, you wouldn't have had either the resources or the mental capacity to handle it. So do be gentle on yourself regarding this. That's why the elk is coming through here. I see these particular what's the animal family that these are, like the elk, the moose, the deer. But I associate them with being vulnerable, with being, because they're hunted. They're known for being hunted because there's so many of them. But there's also safety in numbers. It's kind of like, yeah, it was self-preservation what you were going through. So don't be hard on yourself for not being able to see something before. You just weren't ready to handle it, or you didn't have the resources to be able to handle it in some cases, especially with the Ten of Pentacles here, because that can mean money. And that explains the dogs barking, because dogs, they have a higher sixth sense than we do. They know how to sniff out people. If a dog doesn't like somebody, there's probably a good reason as to why that dog doesn't like somebody. Um, and when they start barking, it's not that they want to make noise, it's that they're warning us, or that they're trying to alert us of something here. And I only learned this once I had a dog, and I never really had a dog till I was an adult. I was my family just, we didn't have pets. But once I learned how dogs are, like once I hear my dog barking, I don't get annoyed. I'm just like, oh, she's just alerting us that someone's at the door. She's alerting us that somebody's home. She's alerting us, of all these things. And it's never, I learned not to take it as good or bad. It's just that it's an alert, it's like how your messages pop up and it's like, hey, someone messaged you. But that's not a good or a bad thing. That's just a neutral message. And the dog started barking again, just for confirmation. Yeah, for those of you who aren't used to dogs and you're kind of wondering what that's like or why they bark, it's just them alerting people that, hey, someone's here. Hey, there's something happening. And that's what they do, They don't have anything else to do. They don't have jobs. They don't really have to do anything around the house other than just be fun. So they alert us, they protect us. Some of you could have like a dog as a spirit guide, especially if you knew one growing up. I feel like it's still taking care of you. Animals can very much be spirit guides or little, little animal angels. I feel like it's the cutest thing. I'm going to go ahead and read for the elk though. Stable, resilient, headstrong, the father. The great elk represents the earth element in its masculine form. This means it provides underlying support and stability amidst life's many changes. An elk personality, whether male or female, is fully established in themselves and knows their core values. They become known and respected for acting in ways that uphold those values. Sometimes the elk's ego can become inflated, but for the most part, they make damn good fathers, mothers, lovers, and friends. The world needs more elk energy. See, this is what I'm saying. There's like a stability here. I feel like for a lot of you, you have guides that want to bring you stability. In fact, for a long time, whenever I was using the Wild Unknown Tarot, I kept getting the King of Pentacles again, because deer and what is that family class of animals? I forget what it's called, but they're very sacred to me. And I kept getting the King of Pentacles, and that symbolized my one of my spirit guides, very earthy energy, like Capricorn energy. And I feel like for a lot of you, you may have something similar. You have a spirit guide that wants to bring you abundance, stability. It looks out for you like a father figure. So regardless of what your relationship with your actual biological father was, there is a father-like figure, spirit guide here that protects you. And it's coming here along with your higher self to let you know that you have everything you need in order to build a healthy, prosperous life. Because you are smart. In fact, you might get your intelligence from this. If you have a paternal or father-like ancestor, again with strong earth energy, I feel like he is here with you as well, constantly protecting and guiding you. And I feel like you get your intelligence from that side of the family as well, specifically, and maybe even more so if they didn't have an education, because that was an intelligence that had to be literally scrapped and earned from the streets or from life in general. So that's intelligence that you can't buy, that you can't just access like everybody else. For some of you, your intuition could also come from this side of the family. So I feel like that's where you're gaining your clarity. And this is what your higher self wants you to know, is that you're capable of doing anything. And you don't really have to rely on other people for this. It's great if you can. And if you can, of course, be grateful for it. But you can do things on your own. Especially, I think, and I'm sorry that I'm genderizing things here, but I'm being shown specific examples because I feel like specific people need to hear this. Especially women who are single. I feel this pressure from certain cultures where like it's the men who want their daughters to be married off as soon as possible. And that comes from like a long history of women being seen as, you know, as a trading tool to gain power, to gain land, to gain money, whatever the case is. I feel like your male ancestors, even if they were like that in their living life, they see life through a different perspective once they pass on, once they leave these earthly bodies and realize that it's life isn't meant to be like that. I feel like you have strong male ancestors, strong male spirit guides that want to guide you so that you can be in your feminine energy. This is specifically, of course, for those who identify as feminine here. But even if you are more masculine, your strong male ancestors want to guide you so you have guidance so that you can be the best version of yourself, regardless of your gender. They just want you to live a happy, prosperous life. And I feel like it comes from that side. And I'm getting a little emotional about this because for some of you, I feel like this is something that you felt was never really your it was never really part of your destiny, or you felt that you had nothing, that maybe you came from nothing. So you had to work twice as hard. But your male ancestors are here both in an empowering and maybe even in a bit of apologetic way, that they couldn't leave anything for you, but they want to be there for you as you build your life, as you build your stability. Take that as it resonates. I know for everybody it's going to hit a little bit different, but that is what's coming through. With that said, let's go ahead and move on to the tarot to see what else your higher self wants you to know. Even though here I feel like it was they came in conjunction with some strong masculine energy, strong earthly energy, if you don't want to see it as masculine or feminine. And again, I apologize for my voice. I'm actually trying to sound a little lower voice than usual, not just because of my congestion, but somebody mentioned in a comment that I sound like a 6-year-old. I'm a full-grown 34-year-old woman. I don't know why I have a childlike voice. I always have. I don't know, but yeah, let's go ahead and see what messages your higher self would like you to know, or even this divine masculine spirit guide or ancestor that is coming through. And thank you so much for clicking on this reading. It's an honor for me to read for you. It's an honor to read this energy well. It feels very different from previous energies. So this must be some new subscribers here, or new viewers. Hello and welcome, and thank you. We have the Two of Swords. We have Justice. We have the Hermit. For those of you on the Libra and Virgo cusp, I feel like this is a strong message for you, or somebody could have been born during that time, or even that time of the year could be of importance to you. We have the Fool. These messages are just repeating themselves. We have the Chariot. Like I said, your higher self and or the spirit guide really want to push you forward, because we have the Fool and the Chariot. We have the Two of Swords, Justice, and Hermit. I feel like for a lot of you, you felt that you couldn't really have a say or like a decision in anything. I feel like you've been a little bit immobilized by the fact that either you thought people were supposed to make up their mind for you, or that people had a plan set for you and you had to follow it. Especially if you come from a culture like that, where you have to be very you have to make everybody else happy. You have to make your parents happy, your family happy. It's like, what would people say? Because there's a bit of a stifling energy here with the Two of Swords. It's interesting that the Two of Swords and the Eight of Swords are very similar. They both have blindfolds, but as to where the Eight of Swords, the swords are around them. In the Two of Swords, this lady is carrying the swords herself. So I feel like for some of you, even if people didn't really push you to live a specific kind of life or do specific things, you picked up on their cues right away and you did what they thought you wanted you to do. Because again, there's this feeling here that you wanted to people please, that you wanted to make everybody proud, that you were blinding yourself to your own needs, to your own passions, to whatever it was that you wanted. So instead, you did what everybody else did. And what this did instead was kind of numb you, because when I look at this Two of Swords, it's a little bit of a not wanting to be yourself, because if you were to be yourself, people would be disappointed. And now I'm getting the movie Mulan, where she takes up a whole new identity to go fight for her father, because she doesn't want her father to be injured. And that's very noble of her. You know, it's wonderful that she wants to take care of her father. However, she was really looking for herself. That entire journey was like, well, I couldn't be a good bride, so now I'm going to go and try to be a good warrior. So for some of you, I feel like there's a bit of an either identity crisis or shift here, where you tried being something before that didn't work out. Now you're going to be something that's maybe even the complete opposite. Because with Justice, I just see you trying to find your place. I almost said trying to fit in, but it's not about fitting in. It's about finding your place and finding your calling. Because Justice here is coming through as like a destiny card. And it's weird because I typically don't read Justice that way. But it's kind of like you want to balance things out between what you want and what everybody else wants. It's a people-pleasing energy. You just want to make everybody happy. Definitely Libra energy. Not all Libras, but a good amount of them. And of course, I do say that with so much love for Libras. Like I said, I love them, but there are just certain Libras out there that put up with so much. And I'm like, why do you put up with this? And that was the energy I was reading in the Oracle. So even if you're not that sign, I feel like you could have similar traits here where you just put up with far too much, even though you really shouldn't. Or people would feel that you would put up with a lot less because you know better. This is also kind of Pisces energy that's coming through, maybe Cancerian as well. So yeah, I feel like for a lot of you, there's a balancing here because you're very self-reflective. I feel like you're also very considerate, and almost to a fault. I feel like people have actually taken advantage. Oh my god, that's the truth. Excuse me, pile 3. But yeah, I feel like people have taken advantage of this very particular ability of yours, where you care not just about yourself but about everybody else. You make sure you accommodate everybody. You put up with a lot, and especially in places like the workplace where maybe you're really good at whatever it is that you do. After all, the Hermit energy is also Virgo energy, and that comes through as workaholic energy sometimes because they're very meticulous, they're very detail oriented, but they can also whenever I think of Virgos, I think of streamlining a process because they know how to take the flaws and make things better. My goodness. There's also something about the throat chakra here, by the way, because I know I've been coming out of being sick, but I've been wanting to cough extra since I've been doing this reading. So for a lot of you, I felt like this energy has kept you quiet, and I feel like you're about to come out of this energy where you can speak a little bit more freely. And the beauty of this is that we have the Fool and the Chariot. It's like once you acknowledge your strengths and why you've put up with things for so long, why you've let certain things just happen, why have you let everything else but your inner heart and yourself dictate your life, you're going to be catapulted into very new energy. I do see the Fool as you taking on new endeavors or even being a little bit out of your comfort zone, but in a good way, because these are new things that are really exciting. I feel like you're going to be excited about the newness of it. It's like if you're doing something you've never done before, it's going to thrill you. It's going to bring something new, maybe even something that you've been missing. And same thing with the Chariot. You're going to move forward rather quickly. Like you're going to be an unstoppable force here. It's kind of like once you break out of whatever mold somebody has decided to put you in or fill you up in,
you're going to run free, you're going to run wild. But the Chariot isn't just forward momentum, it's forward momentum with a purpose here. So to other people, you may come off as not knowing what you're doing, or you're just having fun, you're just doing whatever. But the truth is, this entire time, you actually have had a plan. You're just having fun along the way, or you're not letting it bog you down the way the previous plans have done so. Then at the bottom of the deck, we have the King of Swords, again with very strong air energy. And it's funny because even Virgo, it's an earth sign, but it's kind of like a honorary air sign because of how intellectual it is. But we have Gemini, Libra, Aquarius with a stronger focus on Libra. And then, of course, Virgo energy. And some of you could be a cusp. And the Fool is also Aquarius energy. At least I take it more as Aquarius energy. The Chariot is Cancerian. Lots of major arcana letting me know that whatever your higher self has in store for you, because I feel like it's more than just a message here. I feel like your higher self has a plan and you're following it, because after all, your higher self is just a truer version of yourself. And whatever this is, I'm very excited for you, Pile 3. Of course, I don't think I can say much of what the plan is because it's going to be different for everybody. But this is something new. This is something, some of you could be going somewhere quite literally. For some of you, this could involve a vehicle. Maybe you're finally getting like the vehicle of your dreams, or you're traveling by something you've always wanted to travel by. I want to say this is a chariot. It looks like the ocean to me, but it could also be a chariot. So some of you could be traveling across the ocean, or an ocean, or a body of water. But I feel like for most of you, it is an ocean. And you're going to be not identifying. Well, you could be identifying as something new. But you're going to be embodying this new identity of being much more, not intellectual or logical. I mean, I guess you could see it that way. But it's like, you're going to make sense of the things that you do. You're not going to be doing things just because somebody else tells you to do, or because you feel like it's expected of you. You're going to follow your logic, and in following your logic, you could be following your dreams. Maybe some of you have the North Node in an air sign, or what's the other thing? Like Mercury in an air sign, whichever makes more sense here. And it's more true to you, or even Moon in an air sign. And underneath that, we have the Well, which is unique to this deck because it's kind of like the well of inspiration, and underneath that, King of Wands. And for a lot of you, this is really going to boost your confidence. It's also going to boost control over your life. So beautiful reading. Lots of big things are coming in for you, Pile 3. And I feel like that's why your higher self had to bring in a spirit guide to remind you that you have more than one person on your side. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to some closing cards. Absolutely love this reading, by the way. There's something new happening for you, and I'm really excited for you, Pile 3. I feel that in my bones, I swear. If you would like to share, you can in the comments below, but if you want to keep it your little secret, you can as well. So for my Pile 3s, there's a little rainbow in this crystal. Oh, you can't really see it, but in this angle from where there's like a little rainbow. Is it on camera? I don't think it is. If you can see it, it's there, but oh, that's amazing. I love it. I've had that crystal for years now, and I've never seen that. But like in the right light from this particular angle, there's a rainbow here. Take that as confirmation. Okay, we have make a mission statement for your soul. We have you, the muse. Changemaker, make waves. It's funny, we were talking about like a masculine, divine masculine energy, specifically one that is taking care of you. And now here we have the Empress card, or the equivalent of the Empress card in this deck. We have Rise. So much forward momentum here. And I should point out that this is a timeless reading, but I am recording this like a day after the Mercury retrograde. So I feel like once or after the retrograde has ended, like it's going direct now. So once certain planets go direct, regardless of when you're watching this, there might be like a planet or two that is impacting you that is retrograde. Once it goes direct, it will be like, it'll be the push you need to go forward and choose who you are becoming. And this is just reiterating a lot of what I said with mission statement. Make a mission statement for your soul. Your higher self is asking you to realign with values that are more true to you as opposed to true to everybody else. Don't worry about society. Don't worry about your family. Ask yourself what it is that you want, even if it's just one thing. You deserve to be individual in at least one thing in your life. I don't care how planned or predetermined you feel your life is meant to be. There's one thing that you're meant to do for yourself, and at the very least, start with that. Even if it's just the clothes you wear, wear clothes that you like, not what is fashionable or not what everybody else expects you to wear. It's kind of like, no shade or no hate against people who like to dress the same, but I see this a lot in like, especially high school or even maybe even sororities or fraternities where everybody wears the same thing. And that can be fun, don't get me wrong. It's fun to be part of a group and it's fun to kind of dress the same. But are you meant to be like that your entire life? Of course not. You're meant to wear whatever, well, one, suits your body, suits your needs, suits your lifestyle, and whatever you just happen to like. So I'm getting that kind of energy from that card. With you, the Muse, I do see yourself on a pedestal, either because you put yourself there or other people put you there. And it's kind of weird. I feel like some of you don't feel like you deserve that energy, because I'm trying to say it and like my mouth and voice get all kind of muddled. I'm not sure if that's coming through on camera, but I do feel like some of you are going to become a source of inspiration yourselves. It's one thing to be inspired by other things, but for you to be the muse, for you to be the inspiration, that's something new entirely. A lot of you are also going to be seen a little more, and there's nothing to fear there if you have a fear of being seen. I feel like it's just people are going to appreciate what you are in your entirety. With Changemaker Make Waves, like I said, you're doing new things, you're embarking on new experiences. And with Rise, again, this is the Fool and the Chariot. You're going to be propelled forward to the things that you are meant to do. And choose who you are becoming. Just again, your individuality here matters. Who you are and who you want to be matter here, pile 3. Back of the deck, we have Soul on Fire. And I feel like this new era of your life, because for a lot of you, this does feel like something new that you're stepping into. You might want to check out the next chapter of your life video that I posted earlier. I might link it below. But this is like a new chapter for you that your higher self is guiding you through. So don't feel alone. Don't feel scared. Same thing with a lot of your spirit guides that want to come through, or your ancestors. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of your cards. I'm going to start with the evening mantras. For my pile 3, I focus on the happy, not the crappy. Every single pile has gotten this card. I think I need to take it out of rotation. Maybe I'm not shuffling, but focusing on the happy and not the crappy will really help out here. I feel like everybody's higher self is wanting everyone to focus on the good things, which might sound a little bit like toxic positivity, but honestly, at least having one good thing to talk about every day can put you in a better mood. And then we have obsessive comparison is only useful for online shopping. The truth is we're all living 7.5 billion completely unique lives. So let's compare less and live more, okay? Like I said, don't compare yourself to others. Don't worry about what people expect you should do. This is all about you and what you want and whatever it is that you want to follow here. There's something to be said about individuality that maybe some of you have really struggled with, but I don't see you struggling with it anymore. Especially with Pluto and Aquarius. My goodness, you want to talk about individuality? I feel like that particular Pluto placement is going to it's really going to impact that. And then we have this card. Forget what has already been and wake up tomorrow to a paradise of your own creation. I want to say that came out in another pile as well, but I feel like that's going to be like a main theme for a lot of people in this reading, is being happy with the person you are, choosing yourself and choosing your individuality. And sometimes that means that you're doing things that didn't go according to plan, but it's going to make you so happy and it's going to feel so authentic to you and it's going to give you more power over your life. But this is where I leave it, pile 3. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 4. If you chose the amethyst point, then we have a reading here for you about messages from your higher self, what your higher self would like you to know. So already when I'm tapping into your higher self, they've got a bit of a fun side to them, or like a good sense of humor, or at the very least, this is an aspect of yourself that is wanting to come through in this pile, in this reading. So let's go ahead and look at the oracles to see what messages you've got for yourself. We have the 7 of Pentacles. Some of you have been working so hard. You've been working so hard, and maybe you've seen progress, maybe you haven't. Maybe you're wondering where your money is, where your career is taking you, when your dreams will come through. And I guess that makes sense, because sometimes when we're out here having fun, life goes by in a way, like life goes by faster. It's kind of like whenever you're working a shift with somebody at a boring job, and if you're there with like your favorite people, if you're there with fun people, it goes by faster. That's what I'm seeing. So, same thing when it comes to life. The more you're having fun, the more life just happens to you in a quicker time, at a quicker pace. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your oracles. And I do apologize if my voice sounds a little weird. I was sick for a few days and I'm still a little congested, but I'm a lot better now. We have this squirrel, just really emphasizing that humoristic energy. I associate squirrels, I mean, they're funny creatures. They're so small and they're so erratic, and they're adorable. But there's also something to be said about work here because I think of how they harvest nuts for the winter. You know, they store them away so they have something to eat later. I will read from the book for that, but that's what's coming through. We have I Forgive Myself. We have Izanami, Potential. We have Serendipity, Shooting Star. We have the Starborn. I'm going to put that next to the star, and the octopus. So pile 4, you have many opportunities in front of you. And maybe for some of you, you've had opportunities in the past that you've kind of just passed on for whatever reason. Either you felt that they weren't meant for you or that you couldn't do it at the time that they were presented, but you've had a lot of opportunities come up. And maybe some of you even kind of kick yourselves for saying no to something from the past. Like maybe you had, I'm just seeing you have chances for something. Things that when you look back on, you're like, oh, I would have had a better life if I'd done this. I would have had a better job. I would have had a better XYZ, whatever the case is. But the first thing here to do is forgive yourself for letting go of that opportunity. I feel like there is something to be said about divine timing, but also like the divine willingness to take on something, because it's one thing for the things to show themselves. It's another thing to know internally whether you are ready for something or not. And if you weren't ready for something, then you just weren't ready. If it was really meant for you, it will show up again. That said, I feel like some of you feel that you've already missed out on your potential. And even with Serendipity and Shooting Star, this lets me know that something might come back around for you to take a chance on, or something similar, or maybe even better might come around. So don't worry about that. I'm also seeing a wish being granted, like wishing on a shooting star, even with the Starborn here. I feel like some of you, the one thing that was keeping you from these opportunities, or an opportunity if it's one specific one that you're thinking of, is that you weren't really ready to be in the spotlight. It would have asked you to step up into either bigger or more visible energy than you were used to. So for a lot of you, you're I'm not saying that you didn't have a developed personality, but the kind of personality that you would have needed for this opportunity would not have been ready. Like maybe some of you were a lot more shy, or you weren't used to handling a public view, or you weren't used to handling so many people if it's something where you had to lead many people. Because even the octopus here, think of how many arms it has. It's being able to handle so many things at once. Maybe some of you didn't have enough free time for whatever this is. So there is something to be said about divine timing, but also the divine readiness of yourself to be able to handle the opportunities that came your way. I feel like deep down, a lot of you, when you rejected those previous opportunities, you knew you just weren't ready, or you knew something here wasn't right, whatever it was. Even if you couldn't really put your finger on it, even if you couldn't make sense of it, deep down, your inner knowing, if it wasn't ready for you, it wasn't ready for you, and you weren't ready for it. For some of you, this could be like romantic opportunities as well. But that said, again, don't kick yourself for it. I feel like things would have gone worse if had you been in it. It's like the self-sabotage would have come through rather strongly had you accepted something, or had it been given to you. For some of you, maybe you're thinking of not being selected for something. Again, don't worry about it. There's something here about being ready on both ends. Like both things have to match here. It's a two process, or it takes two to tango. Like it wasn't ready for you, you weren't ready for it. But it starts by forgiving yourself. So for a lot of you, we're talking about opportunities and what it takes for you to become the thing you need to be. I'm gonna go ahead and read for the squirrel because I said I would, and then I guess the octopus as well, because I feel like I might be reading that wrong. I'm glad I looked up the scroll, because what it says is the spirit of courage. If you are afraid, then do it with fear. The spirit of the scroll calls for courage. Listen to your intuition and move with caution. But don't let fear freeze you. Fear is a great master, so be thankful for the warnings it sends you, but always lead with the bravery of your heart. If you've been dwelling in monotony, a new adventure is exactly what you need to turn ordinary into extraordinary. It may be a trip, a new job, or even a new hobby, but a move away from routine and dare to try something new. It doesn't need to be something big. Any little change you bring into your life can spark a little joy in your soul. For a lot of you, this had to do with fear, the fear of failure or the fear that maybe something wasn't right. And again, you can forgive yourself for letting fear win out, but it's not always going to stay because we're not meant to live in fear. We're meant to live in our power. We're meant to live in our authentic willingness to do whatever it is that we want. I'm going to go ahead and read for octopus. Reaching, yearning, lacking boundaries and direction. The octopus signifies a wonderfully perceptive mind paired with a lack of healthy boundaries. Unfortunately, this results in well intended but messy relationships. The octopus entwines itself into other people's business and shares their own without restraint. They believe that's what it means to be close. If you notice after spending time with someone that you feel drained or uneasy, the essence of octopus is at play. Begin to establish healthy boundaries. Be patient and firm. It may be a very old habit to change. So there's something here about boundaries as well. If it's not you per se, it could have been somebody else. Maybe some of you were coming from pile 3, and I think there was another pile similar to that. There were certain piles where everybody else's expectations was kind of shaping and molding somebody as opposed to them following their own individual truth. And here it's very similar. Like, I feel like other people's business was getting into yours, or like people were trying to tell you what to do. Regardless, I feel like you weren't following something that was yours, or you had to deal with boundaries, whether it was somebody else's boundaries or your boundaries. I feel like it all depends. So part of the reason you couldn't you couldn't take up the opportunities from the past was because of intervention from other people's energies. And I kind of been speaking about this a little bit more recently, just because it is possible for people's energies to kind of like mess with other people's energies. I don't like to talk about it too much because I don't want to, well, one, I don't want to bring fear into this. I don't want you to be afraid of like what everybody else's intentions are. But two, there's also like this feeling that your energy should overpower anybody else's. Your free will should be yours and your own only, and nobody else should be in the way of that. So there could be something about somebody else intervening in this kind of energy. But I do feel like you're going to step into the spotlight in whatever way that means for you. Doesn't mean that you're going to have like the public eye on you. It just means you're going to step into your power. You're going to be okay leading your own life and making your own decisions here. And I absolutely adore this. So you're breaking free of something, and it all begins by forgiving yourself. And like I said, you're going to have many opportunities come through for you, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. I feel like you finally have the courage to live out the life that you want, to live out certain dreams that you've been having as well. Because like I said, the shooting star, a dream is coming true. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the tarot, because I'm kind of excited for this. I mean, all the piles have been exciting in some way, shape, or form. Oh, I forgot to do the runes. Okay, there's a pile where I forgot to do the runes. So I'm going to go ahead and do them for you. Okay, we have, is this Wunjo? I want to say this is the future. Yeah, you have a lot of things coming up for you in the future. Opportunities, yes, but also other beautiful stories. We have, I want to say it's Isa, stand still. But right now it may feel like you're not getting anywhere. And then Manas. Wait, Manas or Awas? There's two that look similar. Yeah, this is Manas, this is mankind. So right now, I feel like you feel that either certain people or certain communities could be getting in the way of you approaching something. This could be your family. This could be your own community. This could even be society. That, or you feel like another way of seeing this could be that you feel like you have to provide something for the world. And yes, to an extent, I feel like we're all meant to leave our mark on the world in some way, shape, or form. But for a lot of you, I feel like you could be worrying too much about your impact on the world. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like that's a wonderful thing to do. But if that's getting in the way of you being authentic, if that's getting in the way of you even being happy, I feel like there's something to be said about that. I'm going to leave these here just in case they become relevant when I get the tarot cards. So for my pile 4, what does their higher self want them to know? There is a little bit of self-sabotaging energy coming through in this reading, not gonna lie. I feel like that's sort of what I wanted to say in the oracles, but I had a hard time identifying it. We've got strength. This card is so weird because she's got... Maybe I shouldn't talk about it, but her chest is out, but she doesn't have any, like... Anyway, if you've ever seen this deck, I think you'll know. But we have the strength card, overcoming obstacles. This pile has a sense of humor. I will say that, because I swear I'm trying to talk about titties here. But I'm like, what are you talking about? We're focusing on the subject matter. I do feel like your higher self wants you to have more fun. I do feel like your higher self makes it a point to keep you in happy, fun energy. We have judgment. And part of the reason is because you deal with a lot of heavy things. You deal with a lot of maybe even important things. Like the things you're going through may not even be, like, they're pretty serious. But if you keep a good sense of humor, this might help you out a lot. We have the Four of Cups. Yeah, because otherwise you would stay in this energy of like worrying too much or over worrying. We have the High Priestess. And the Nine of Cups. Back of the deck. The Magician. What can I say, pile 4? So you're going through a lot, or you've been through a lot. I feel like you've overcome a lot as well. It's like any flaws that you've had, any blockages that you had, I do feel like this pile is actually surprisingly intuitive. And maybe people don't really recognize that because you're always being silly or joking around. But that's kind of the thing. Staying in that energy, staying in that high vibrational energy helps you to better be more intuitive or more connected to source. I'm thinking of like from the show Avatar: The Last Airbender. People wouldn't suspect that Aang is the Avatar because he's just a kid having fun, doing silly things, making silly jokes, but he's like a big deal. He's really powerful. He's really strong. And when it comes down to it, he knows how to be serious and how to handle some pretty big things. That's the kind of energy I'm getting from you, pile 4. So if you're silly, if you're fun, keep doing that. I feel like people don't recognize the things that you go through, the things you put up with, as well as a lot of the serious subjects that you may have to deal with day to day. Because with strength here, I feel like you've overcome a lot. You could have had like a rough childhood, or you could have just come from a background that wasn't very great, but you managed to have such a sunny and happy disposition. Because with judgment, I do feel like you've had to make some really life-altering decisions, or you could be going through one right now. Because I'm getting a sense that even though there's a lot of stuff going on, you still want to be happy. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if this pile, one of your biggest life goals is to just be happy no matter what, to be in happy energy. With the Four of Cups, I do see that when nobody's looking, when you're not being your sunny self, you're actually quite you could even be prone to depression. I feel like you're very contemplative. You kind of get stuck in some melancholy moods. Maybe you have a moon in a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, because I see that with those types of moons, especially if you have like what's the other one? Sagittarius, maybe Gemini. But yeah, I feel like you could have a water moon, and I don't know why that is. Maybe that's just me, because I also have Jupiter in a moon sign. Maybe you have Jupiter in a water sign. Maybe you have Jupiter in a water sign. I feel like you think things through very deeply, and you actually have quite a profound mind. If people saw how deeply you think about things, I think it would scare them, because you see through the reality of so many things. That's why the High Priestess is here. You're very intuitive. And the thing about intuitive people, it's like you have to be comfortable with the truth, because the truth isn't always pretty and the truth isn't always convenient. So when you're capable of being able to get intuitive downloads, or to see through the situation, to see the world at large, it can be quite daunting. It can be quite it can be disheartening to see exactly how life is. But I feel like you make it a point to be in happy, high vibrational energy, because it is a privilege that not a lot of people get to have. And even when they do, it's like only children get to have it, because they don't have any responsibilities. So if you have the privilege of being able to be happy, you take it fully, because
tomorrow is never promised. And I really do love this energy, pile 4. I feel like you try to be everybody's friend. I think even when you don't like somebody, it's not that you go out of your way to be mean to them. You just avoid them because you know people do not deserve cruelty. Um, with the Knight of Cups, I do feel like you will end up having the life you want. I do feel like you will have a happily ever after. Like I said, there is a wish coming true for you. That came through with the shooting star, and it's coming through again with the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is a card of wish fulfillment. So whatever wish you've been wanting, it will come true. It may be something small, or it may be something that impacts your life for the better. With the Magician, though, I do feel like your higher self wants you to be more proactive with the intuitive hints that you get, with the channeling that you do. It's kind of like, it's one thing to know everything, it's another thing to actually do something about it, or to use that ability to help others. I feel like you already do, but your spirit guides and your higher self are coming through to let you know, whenever you're feeling down, whenever you feel useless or hopeless, remember that people depend on you for not just your energy, but for your wisdom and advice here. I feel like people truly do love being around you. Even if it's just your energy, even if it's just there being there, smiling, doing nothing except being chill. I feel like people really do admire this about you. Lots of major arcana. For those of you who don't identify or don't feel like you're intuitive, I do feel like this is going to change soon. You might have a spiritual awakening, or you may decide to develop your skills, your intuitive skills, because everybody has them. They're like a muscle. It's just all a matter of tapping into them and using them, especially here with the future rune. So maybe some of you are wanting to look into the future. Maybe for some of you, you're wanting to be intuitive so you can better handle what's about to come in the future, depending on where you live and whatever's going on. So yeah, my beautiful pile 4, this is what I see. Your higher self also wants you to know that you're doing a great job, and don't feel bad about yourself. I feel like some of you get in these melancholic moods, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're all allowed to feel sad from time to time, but I feel like you can be so hard on yourself. Yeah. And if people knew and understood this, I think they would want to be there for you a lot more. But with that said, let's go ahead and get some closing advice or anything else that your higher self would like you to know. For my pile 4. Integrate your knowing. Yeah, like I said, your higher self is saying that you have this really strong intuition for a reason. I feel like a lot of you are going to find a reason to use it or to put it to better use. You are light. Yeah, I was getting a very light energy from this pile. It's really fun. It's really, like, I love this energy. I feel like people find you to be very fun or funny or both. Celebrate your wins. Creator Earth. There is something to be said about grounding yourself. I feel like you make it a point to ground yourself. So definitely spending more time in nature. But I'm also seeing you with celebrate your wins. You really do like to celebrate the small things in life. If there's any reason to make somebody's day or celebrate them, I feel like you do, or you would. And welcome the divine masculine. For a lot of you, I mean, there's two ways to take this. If you identify more as divine feminine, you might be welcoming in some divine masculine energy, whether that's for you to embody or for you to spend time with as a person. And if you consider yourself more masculine but not quite divine yet, I feel like you're going to step into this. Like I said, a lot of you could be tapping into your intuition pretty soon, or you could be developing those skills. Back of the deck, we have the sacred flow of yes. I absolutely love this because I feel like for a lot of you, you're saying yes to opportunities that maybe you would have said no to in the past. From the Let Go Oracle, for my pile 4, we have this one. Lie in the sun and feel warmth in your heart. What does the goddess of the sun ask of you? For some reason, I was getting beach vibes. So some of you could be going to the beach, or you could be sunbathing. Maybe that's something you like to do. And maybe that's one way that you cleanse your soul, or one way that you, what's that vitamin that comes from the sun? Is it vitamin D? That's one way you could be taking in your vitamin D. And then we also have this one. Oh, this is pretty. You are willing and able and won't give up
won't give in or stop hoping. Enjoy your journey to love. Let me reread that, pile 4. You are willing and able and won't give in or stop hoping. Enjoy your journey to love. So for a lot of you, this could be the journey to self-love. It could be the journey to love of the world, or even just love romance in general. I feel like for a lot of you, you're undoing a lot of blockages as well. Because this entire reading, I felt a little bit uneasy. Even though the energy was amazing and pure and there's a lot of beautiful energy here, you're undoing a lot of blockages or anything that's been getting in the way. Like I said, that octopus energy is like other people's energy wanting to come through and kind of just like either drain you, zap you, or get in the way of whatever you're doing. So I see you releasing that. Some of you could benefit from energy healings, or even there's a lot of Reiki on YouTube that I like to watch. I don't know. Maybe I'll recommend some. I might put them in the description, or if you ask me in the comments, I might send you some of the videos that I like to watch. Because I am an energy healer as well, but I don't yet provide those services. I do incorporate them more into my personalized readings, and sometimes in these videos, if I feel like they get in the way of me reading energy. And then the last card, I'm a bubbling fountain of gratitude for the trillions of ways my life is going right. I might forget to talk about them, but I sure can take a moment to think about them. So I see you stepping into gratitude as well, especially you could have a whole ritual where you step outside in the sunlight and just thank the world for everything. I actually love that idea. And as soon as I said that, the sun started shining brighter, almost like the sun is in agreement. It's like, yes, go ahead and give me all your gratitude and I'll bring you back more gratitude. Oh, I love this energy. Pile 4. This is where I leave you. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe. I'm sending you so much love. And I'll see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, Pile 5. If you chose the selenite heart, then we have a reading here for you of messages from your higher self, whatever your higher self wants you to know right now, anything that your higher self may want you to focus on, and maybe some spirit guides or any ancestors could come through that happened in a previous pile, but not all of them. So, for my Pile 5, let's go ahead and look at the card you chose, and then we're going to look at the oracles to see what else wants to come through. We have Temperance. This is such a beautiful card. Like, I don't know if you can see the gold flickering. Not only that, but I'm also recording this like just as the sun has risen, because I like to record in the mornings for the best light. But there's something about a new beginning. There's also something about your healing journey coming to completion. That said, we never really stop healing from one thing or another. It's just like an ongoing process. But there is one particular healing journey that you have been on, maybe on and off for a long time. I feel like you're finally healing from it. And one way you will know, whenever that particular thing or subject or topic that you are healing from gets brought up, you will not feel any sort of negative way. You will not feel in any weird way. Like, it won't bother you anymore. It won't be a trigger anymore. It'll just be something that you can retell as if it was a story or as if it happened a long time ago. But I love this energy for you. This is Temperance, and Temperance can also be focusing on that which you need to focus on. So we'll see what it is that your higher self wants you to do. We have the Crossroad. Yeah. Interestingly, we have, this is 15, this is 14. So you might be at a crossroads right now, or you might come upon it pretty soon because you have healed from said journey. We also have the Fault Line, which is kind of similar to the Crossroad, I think. Like maybe the fault line is created and therefore you have to choose which side of the line you have to move on to. Also, Pile 5, I have to apologize for my congestion. I was sick for a few days and my congestion comes and goes, so I'm pronouncing things a little bit weirder than usual. So thank you for your patience there. We have the Golden Egg. My goodness, Pile 5. You're embarking on something new, and it's no wonder your higher self wants to speak to you about this. We have this Froggy. My progress is not diminished by my setbacks. My progress is not diminished by my setbacks. Like I said, the healing process is something that is on and off. Some days we're like really good about it, and other days we feel like we've been knocked back a few spaces, a few steps. However, I still see this as a big accomplishment, because if we were to see this healing process as like getting over a hill, you're over the hill. Maybe you're still on some jaggedy parts going down the hill, but you're over the worst of it. Whatever this is, you're over the worst of it. We have Pele Passion. There was a pile that was talking about passions, or maybe multiple piles talking about passions in different ways. If you came from any of those and you're here for extra confirmation or guidance, just take that as confirmation. And then we have Flower of Life, source number 31. Several things, pile 5. You're about to do something that is really big, something that is pretty amazing. It's kind of like you had to overcome certain struggles, or you had to really heal from certain thought patterns or habits, or you had to heal from something very deeply in order to get to this next phase in life. Because for a lot of you, there is something new coming your way, and you may have to make a choice. And I feel like this is a choice where it's not that you can't go back per se. It's more like it's going to be hard to go back if you do. Mostly because I feel like you're just on new energy. Like there's no going back to what you used to be. I'm getting that song from Aladdin, A Whole New World. Yeah, it's almost like a whole new world. Even if you're not going anywhere, even if you don't really have a new career, if your life is going to remain the same on the outside, on the inside, internally, how you process life, how you go about through life, how you live life is going to be very different. So I do see a lot of you, maybe you've just come out of a spiritual awakening and you healed from the thing that caused your spiritual awakening. Because for a lot of people, it's usually, that really awful relationship or a really awful job or a near death experience. It's anytime you hear about spiritual awakenings, well, not all the time, but like half of the time, people have gone through something. So for a lot of you, you just came out of that and you've already healed from that. And now you're moving on to something else. But somehow this brings you at a bit of a crossroads. It's like choosing between two different careers, one that is more suited to your passions, or one that is more logical, or that maybe people find at higher prestige, or maybe makes like a ton more money. But there's something here to be said about not being discouraged by any setback or perceived setback. Because there's something about the fault line. It's almost like you're expecting a bump in the road. It's almost like you're expecting for things to diminish beneath your feet. Maybe you're used to that, and maybe that's one more thing you need to heal, but it's nowhere near as big as like the main thing that you healed from. So for a lot of you, I see you treading carefully. I see you a little, maybe some of you don't believe this. You're like, no, I'm just waiting for the next big thing. Like some of you think that some big awful thing is about to happen. And the truth is, even if something big and bad happens, you're going to be very safe from it because you're very protected. Imagine yourself in this golden egg. Like you have this little shell, this little eggshell that is divinely protecting you as you move through your journey. I am going to read from the golden egg just to see what it has to say. Because in the Wild Unknown animal spirit book or deck, this is one of those spiritual cards. There's not many of them compared to like all the other 4 elements. This 5th element is something very spiritual, and I feel like it goes along with the Temperance card. So from the book, we have message at the center of the heart, the unstruck sound. Within the golden egg lives a precious sound. Deep within that sound resides a message. The sound cannot be heard nor the message discerned until we retreat from the noise of modern day life. The magical essence of the golden egg needs warmth, quiet, and time to unfold. No rushing, pushing, or grasping. Find a place of deep and restful ease, perhaps through yoga nidra or meditation. If you do not yet have a meditation practice, take some time for the introspection or contemplation. When the mind begins to settle and the breath is calm, ask the question that weighs heaviest on your heart, staying open to any response you hear. Engaging with the energy of the golden egg is an advanced practice. It requires becoming intimate with our very essence and comfortable with vulnerability. I'm going to leave it there. Because for a lot of you, maybe, like I said, spiritual journey, but maybe you're going inward a lot more often right now, or your higher self could be asking you to maybe take up a little bit more meditation or do a deeper form of meditation. Like maybe you already meditate, but maybe it's asking you for something a little bit more involved or something deeper. It could also be asking you to meditate with passion. And what I mean by that is, so whenever we do certain things that bring us peace, specifically hobbies, I'm thinking of things like taking a walk or hiking or creating art, and we get into that meditative trance, like you just, the hours go by and all you did was focus on the one thing you were doing. There is a meditative aspect to that. So your higher self could be asking you to do that thing which brings you passion and meditate through that. Um, yeah, whatever it is that brings you joy. For some of you, it could be dancing. I sometimes associate the Polynesian deities with dance just because it makes me think of hula. Um, and to me, that's a very spiritual dance, very earth-based dance. But that's just me, and I did a little bit back when I was younger. With the flower of life, I feel like source is trying to come through. This pile out of all of them feels like the most spiritual in the messages coming through. I feel like your higher self is literally just asking you to not be afraid to tap into your higher self, into your higher source. And maybe some of you have fallen off of it because of certain things that you've been going through. I know I've just, for example, um, I do tarot and I do energy work and I do a lot of healing, but I just went through a few months of a lot of stuff that I had to deal with, stuff that I had to focus on in the 3D. So it kind of took me a little bit off of my meditation practice and even my yoga practice. So, for example, if I chose this pile, my higher self would be reminding me, hey, get back on it. You have to continue doing yoga. You have to continue meditation so that you can stay in beautiful alignment with the universe and your life purpose. And I feel like for a lot of you, a similar message is coming through, but it all depends on where you are on your journey and what you're comfortable with. Some of you may not be very spiritual to begin with, so this could just be like a nudge to say, hey, it's time to do something a little spiritual for yourself. And for those of you who already are pretty deep in it, I feel like the universe is just asking you to see what your higher self is asking you to, one, not be so hard on yourself if you did fall off of something, and two, dig a little deeper because there's something waiting to be hatched from this golden egg or this crossroads that you're at. And for some of you, it's a little bit of everything. If we were to see these three cards, the golden egg is something that's about to happen. The crossroads is where you make your decision. And the fault line, it's that which you can't really decide on because it's something that happened that makes you move in a certain way. Maybe you're coming across all three, or maybe you're having to choose between choosing your own crossroad, choosing your own path, or allowing the universe to make that path for you, which, I feel like some of you would want a little bit more control over your life. Not saying that the fault line is anything bad here. It's just like the path will make itself very obvious once you come to it. If you stay aligned and if you really listen to your heart and soul. So again, not to alarm you, nothing bad here, but they kind of want you to stay in alignment so that you make the right choice when you get to it. So I hope that made sense. Let's go ahead and move on to the tarot. Again, not saying that if you're not in alignment, you'll make the wrong choice, but it makes it easier to make a choice. And of course, I want to thank you for clicking on this reading. I think we're at 4,000 subscribers now, and I'm just so proud of my channel, and I'm so grateful for everyone who's found these readings to be useful. This is a bit of my love letter to you. So, pile 5. Let's go ahead and see what else your higher self wants you to know. Okay, this one wanted to come out. 7 of Wands. Some of you have been in this fight or flight energy for a long time, or even just fighting energy if you couldn't really flight, if you couldn't really escape it. We have the Queen of Pentacles. We have the 6 of Wands. We have the 9 of Wands. Some of you really do believe that you have to keep fighting for something. And like I said, it's like a fight or flight energy, but you're not meant to live in it. Like that energy is only meant to be around in a situation that is like either dangerous or like when something is quote quote triggering you or something along those lines. I feel like you're overcoming that energy, and I'm very proud of you, pile 5. And the King of Swords, yeah. Back of the deck, we have the Ten of Wands. So for a lot of you, you're no longer fighting anything. And I think that's what kind of makes things a little odd for you. Maybe you're used to always having to fight. Maybe you're used to always having to be like, what's the word? Always, I'm trying to put a word to it. You're always used to fighting. You're always used to having to
stand up for yourself, but you're stepping into an energy where you're a lot more stable now. So it's kind of like you can let your guard down for a minute. You can relax now. Things are going to be okay. The Six of Wands lets me know that you've made it. Like I said, you've overcome the worst of it. And the Six of Wands is a victory card, but not just any victory. It's a victory that has been long earned, or very, very much earned. After all, it's the number six and not the number one. You had to go through those first five steps in order to get to number six. So it's a victory that maybe not everybody acknowledges. Like maybe this was more internal than it was external, but it's a victory won regardless. And you should be very proud of yourself. In fact, your higher self is very proud of you. The universe is proud of you here with the Nine of Wands. So like I said, it's like you're always on guard, and this is great when it comes to defending other people. This is a great energy if you ever want to stand up for others. However, I feel like when it comes to you, you've been so used to being your own defendant that you're not really, that you may find it a little hard to put the wands down, to put the weapon down here, pile 5. And I completely understand. It's kind of like, what's the example I love to show is always when the muscle has been so when it's been so tense for so long that it has a hard time relaxing. That's what I see you as here, pile 5. But you've overcome so much. Not only that, but King of Swords, you've gained so much wisdom. You're so much more, if you wanted to write your story, or if you wanted to share what you've gone through with others in order for them to empower themselves, I feel like you could. The King of Swords is somebody who's very logical, and somebody who gains control or has control over themselves through the wisdom that they've earned, through the wisdom that they've learned here. I feel like a lot of you, you're coming into stable and even logical energy. For some of you, you could be surrounded by people wiser than you, and maybe that makes you feel better because you prefer to be in a room full of people you can learn from. That's something that a lot of successful people like to say. I've heard, what's the quote? If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You want to be in a room full of people who know more than you, or who know differently from you. I like to tweak that, because whatever smart may mean to one person may be different to another person. But I like to be surrounded by people who have different experiences from me, who know different things. I mean, and maybe you're also one of those people who believes that you can learn something from anybody. It doesn't matter who they are, it doesn't matter what their walk of life is. Have you ever had children teach you something and you're just like, wow, I never knew that? That's what I believe. That's why I like to see kids as like very bright. Like, yes, you know more than them because you had the experience, and because you're an adult, and because you can explain to them how to live life, the adult way. But sometimes children teach you things or remind you of certain things, like how to be much more loving, how to be forgiving, of little cute things like that. So for a lot of you, you like to be surrounded by people of all backgrounds, of all different ways of thinking, of different places in their life as well. Or at the very least, you will be in this new era of your life, or maybe this is something your higher self is asking you to do, because you can always learn something from somebody here. And that just adds to the wisdom. There's a lot of earth and air energy here, so some of you could have that combination in your astrological chart. You could be an earth sign with an air moon, or an air sign with an earth moon. And then, like I said, Ten of Wands, some of you truly believe that you're not done fighting, but Five of Wands reversed, it's like you can finally put your guard down. You can finally, it's weird to say you can finally stop healing, but it's more like you're healing, your toughest healing phase is over. And what's up next is something, we have the Artist reversed. I feel like the universe is kind of asking you to create something about your passion. Put more effort and put more more energy, more focus on the passions, on that which makes you happy, on that which brings you joy, on that which brings you life as well. I feel like a lot of you have some sort of talent that you've repressed, or that you don't really use because you feel like it won't really bring you anything, or you feel like it won't make you money, or you may be told that it's a waste of time. And your higher self is like, no, that's the very thing you need to focus on right now, because you're meant to create something for the world to see, for the world to benefit from, and for, at the very least, you to admire and enjoy as you are doing it in the process. And this is very beautiful, because I can tell that you've been through a lot, pile 5. I want to give you a hug, because Better times are ahead for you. You just have to, like I said, put the weapon down and pick up the paintbrush. That's what I'm seeing. It's like pick up something that is going to bring you peace. And you can fight another day or find different ways to release that. Maybe some of you have a lot of anger that has been pent up within you. Sometimes that happens. And you can release that in other ways, maybe through exercise or something. Or even through those same passions that your higher self keeps asking you to focus on. But yeah, this is what your higher self wants to say. Let's go ahead and move on to your closing advice. For whatever reason, I just get really happy with this energy. I'm not sure, but I'm very Mars dominated in my chart. So whenever I see people releasing their anger or expressing their anger into a passion, it makes me happy because that's what you're supposed to do. Also, dance. Mars rules the way you move, so it can also rule over dance. And I have this theory that certain Mars placements move differently. So for example, I have Mars in the 12th house. I absolutely love to dance. It's in Pisces. But you'll never see me dance. It's not for performance. For me, it's something cathartic. For me, it's just, you know, releasing energy, releasing emotions. Okay, this one came out. We have cut the cords of doubt. Yes. For a lot of you, you still have some doubt within you and your higher self is asking you to let it go in whichever way you prefer to do so. We have choose who you are becoming. And again, we have this card of the crossroads. You're about to come at a crossroads, a decision that you're meant to make here. Pile 5. Creator, water. So yeah, creating something artistic or something that comes from the soul, something that is moved by your emotions here. Sacred mirrors. Because whatever you're creating is meant to mirror something back to you. You ever do that? Like, even the way we dress or even the way we write or the music that we choose to listen to that we're really drawn to can sometimes indicate what we were going through at that time. I say this as when I look back at the music I used to listen to, for example, when I was in high school. I was a very angry teenager. I had a lot of anger in me. So I listened to a lot of, you know, metal and what else? A bit of emo and I'm trying to think about it. The music itself was just angry. I listened to a lot of angry music and I'm not that person anymore, or at least not all the time. I think once in a blue moon, but rarely. And then you get 2 more. Get back to elemental. Like I said, get back to that meditation practice, that yoga practice, or whatever you do in order to get yourself in tune with your higher self, with the universe, and follow through. Interesting that this color scheme tends to be mostly like blue, green, and teal. So for some of you, that could be an important color. Back of the deck, shift the way to new potential. And I feel like part of the reason your higher self is asking you to do this is because it's going to open up a door for something new, whatever that may be. Maybe your artistic abilities get you somewhere. Maybe whatever you create is opening a door for a new life for you. Let's get the last of your cards from my pile 5. Excuse me. Sorry if my voice quality has been like on and off. I can't project as much as I usually do. We have this one. After a tough day, I remember that the most challenging people in my life are my coaches. They coach me on patience and compassion, and one day I promise to be grateful. Maybe some of you have been going through a tough time, but I really do see that coming to an end now, pile 5. And for those of you who still have that pent-up anger, find a healthy outlet for it. I can promise you it might take you somewhere that you've really needed. For some of you, it could be nature. For some of you, it could be hitting the gym. And maybe along that journey, you find something amazing, even if it's just the clarity that you've been needing. And then we have this card. Meditate to dispel all fears and become a beautiful, enchantingly magnetic person. This is like the 4th or 5th time I've said meditate. So I think that's just what your higher self wants you to do here, pile 5. Just meditate and see where it takes you. Maybe do a meditation challenge. I know, man, I hope Michelle doesn't see this, but if you do, Michelle, sorry. I'm very proud of her because she actually tracks her meditation journey. I think she's gone over 100 days of meditation, or longer than that, like a year. And if you were to tell me that she would have been into meditation like back when we were younger, I would have like laughed. But I'm so proud of her being able to do this because it's gotten her to such a better mind space. And this is just what I've seen from people. I mean, I do it on a regular basis, but you know, I'm not aware of myself. I don't really know what's going on. But seeing it in somebody like her or seeing it in other people, it's just, it really does make a difference in your energy and in your outlook on life and in how you process things throughout the day. So I don't know. That's just a little hint from your higher self here, pile 5. But this is where I leave it. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe. I'm sending you so much love. Take care.